Hey, Dean here, and for the next phase, I'm trying to build up to get to the point where I paint the El Camino, and the next thing I got to do is put a new skin on the passenger door here. I already did it on the driver's door, and that came out really good, and the fit's good, the gap is good, the alignment's good, and now I got to do the passenger door, and I'll show you why. And I got to pull the skin off to do it. I might as well put a new skin on. And the new skin's about $125, and it'll be brand new and straight, reasonably straight. And the last one, it fit really good, and it's just not that hard. And I'll show you how we take the door skin off. It's pretty easy, and there's other good YouTube videos on this, but I'll show it here too. So the way the door is, the door skin is connected, trying to show a close-up, you got the outer door skin, and then it's folded over with a lip here, and then there are spot welds. Occasionally, the factory just spot welded it down. And so what you do is you take a grinder. It's pretty easy. I like this 2-inch angle grinder, and I just use 36 grit nylock, and you just grind the metal off the very edge of that until it separates, the skin from the folded over lip part. And you take a thin screwdriver and you pry it apart and go all the way around. The bottom, the sides are that lip arrangement, and the top is actually spot welded in several places. And what you use is a spot weld grinder, and I'll do that and I'll show that. And then you can just pull the whole skin off, and then you're left with this strip on here, and you take your spot weld grinder and you just grind the spot welds carefully. The key is to leave as much of the metal on the door frame as possible, because you're going to need to put the new skin over that and weld to it. So I'm just going to grind this off and cut the spot welds and get that skin off. It's loud, you definitely want earplugs. And it's going to throw some sparks, so you want some gloves. We just start grinding. The 2-inch 36 grit was doing the job, but it's a little slow. It's nice if you need fine control, but I decided to switch to the Ryobi 4.5 with the 80 grit flap disc, and man, that thing rocks. You gotta just be careful you don't cut too much. See, the skin is just peeling back after I grind it off. Exactly what we want. Just got to work my way around it. Okay, so I've got that all ground off and broken loose. You can see the skin is loose from the frame all the way up the bottom and both sides right up here to the window frame. So the only thing really holding it on is there's a spot weld up here on the window frame, and then there's this bracket. This bracket here on this car, it's a 68. It had a vent window, and you can see there's the hole where the vent window shaft went down, and this whole bracket is spot welded to a flange on the door frame. You can see here's the new skin, and it has this bracket on it. So all I got to do is pop there's 3 or 4 spot welds here on this bracket, and what I'm going to use is a spot weld cutter. Okay, so I've got those spot welds on that bracket cut with the spot weld cutter, and now this skin is loose. And it is off. Okay, it is time to put the skin on the door frame. So here's the skin. Nice straight sheet metal, all brand new. And we just put it on here. Set it into place. And I carefully flip it over. Make sure it's hooked. And the fit is good. And now here's what we got to do. I'll bring this in a little closer. So if you can see in the video, there's this lip on the new skin here, and this has to be bent over onto the door frame, and it's at pretty much a 90-degree angle now, and we're just gonna bend it over. And so we got a tool for this. It's a really nice tool from Eastwood. It is a door skin lip bender, and you can see it's got a clamp and a nylon block. So the nylon block goes on the outside so it doesn't mar the visible surface, and you use this to pinch it down, but you got to get it started. So what you have to do is take a hammer and dolly and hammer this lip over until it's, you know, kind of past 45, and then we can use that tool to crimp it the rest of the way. And you can see it's about a 2-inch wide hard nylon block that goes on the outside so it doesn't, again, mar the outside steel. So what I have to do is take a hammer, just a ball peen hammer, and a dolly, and I'm just going to tap this lip down until it's at about a 45-degree angle, and then start using the lipper tool to finish crimping that. And then ultimately, once it's crimped over, and that'll be a lot of force, it could probably stay there, but I'll spot weld it at the same place the factory spot welded it, you know, every 4 inches or so, so it's totally on there. And then I'll touch that all up with epoxy paint where I weld. But that's the plan. So I'm just going to start hammering that lip down to about a 45. Of course it moved. Definitely want it in the right place. I may just take the hammer and do it without the dolly so I can pinch it. There we go. All the way around. So I've got that edge started with the hammer, so now I'm going to use the crimper, get this edge set down, and then it won't move, and I can do the other side. It'll be a little easier. I just take this crimper, nylon side goes on the outside, crimp this thing down. And I think I'll try to get a close-up shot. This is pretty cool. See if this shows up in the video. Yeah, that's very nice. So I just got to go around the whole perimeter of the door doing that. Bending it over and then crimping it with the tool. And of course this is going to be the edge that meets the front fender. It's got to be straight and smooth. It may have to be dressed a little bit. But that's good, that's strong. And then like I said, I'll do the whole thing, and then I'll spot weld it every 3 or 4 inches. And I'll put a coat of seam sealer on this edge so water can't get into that crack and rust. That's it. And the door skin is on the door, and the door has been hung on the El Camino. And I went ahead and test fitted the rest of the front sheet metal, the fender, the hood, core support. And it needs work, but I think we are super close. If you look, these gaps look pretty good. A little fine tuning to do, but the door frame fits, the gaps are pretty good. So the door, for the most part, is finished. Now it's just fine tuning the panel alignment and moving on to painting the car. So that little project is done. Came out good.